Investigators blame massive safety errors that could be going on right now in other nuclear carriers. We're going to have a live report. I'm Wolf Blitzer. You're in the Situation Room. The breaking news this hour, another big nosedive on Wall Street, and it's fueling voters' economic pain only 13 days before they choose the next president of the United States. I sat down with Senator John McCain in Manchester, New Hampshire today to talk about issue number one, the economy, and much more. Well, let's talk about taxes right now. Sure. It's a key issue. Among other things, you'd like to cut, and correct me if I'm wrong, the corporate tax rate from 35% to 25%. Is that right? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because what he says, and what Democrats, a lot of Democrats say, that would be a corporate a bonanza for ExxonMobil. They would get an extra $4 billion. Here's the question. Should ExxonMobil be excluded from that cut in the corporate tax rate?
Oh, of course not. We should be cutting corporate tax for every business in America. You know, Barney Frank just said, we're going to take some of that money away from the rich people. That's what Obama's all about. That's what this is about. Let me tell you, we tried a windfall profit tax back during the days of Jimmy Carter, okay? We tried it. Didn't work. But the important thing is, if you talk to the CEO of FedEx, Fred Smith, if you talk to the CEO of Cisco, John Chambers, you talk to Meg Whitman, former CEO of eBay, you know what they'll tell you? They'll tell you they pay their full 35%. And you know what else they'll tell you? When they have the ability to go overseas, unfortunately, they do go overseas. And you know why? Because they're paying 35% full freight, no evasions or escapes from the taxes. They're paying full freight, and they'll show you their tax returns. And guess what? If they go to Ireland, they're only paying 11%. So where are they going to go where they can create wealth and create jobs? It's simple, fundamental economics. So to somehow allege that a company or corporation that can be international is not going to go where they pay the lowest taxes and can create the most jobs is just foolishness. The last time we practiced this kind of isolationism and protectionism that Senator Obama espouses in higher taxes was a guy named Herbert Hoover.
We have another question from a viewer, Frederic Lumiere of Doylestown, Pennsylvania. He says he's an independent. Normally he says he votes Republican, but he said you lost his vote this time because what he called negative campaigning. Here's his question. He said,
you got anybody who says they've changed their mind and is supporting me? You got a question from them, Wolf? I'd love to hear that.
Here's his question.
My question to you is about tax cuts. How can you explain to the American people that tax cuts are going to solve our economic issues, might it be for the rich or the poor, whomever it is for, when they really haven't worked for the last 8 years?
All I can say to him is that look at history. Look at history. You raise taxes during economic crisis times, as we did back in the time of Herbert Hoover. You send the country into a depression. I'm not going to do that. We have a fundamental difference of opinion. Some people think you got to spread the wealth around, you got to raise taxes. As I said, Barney Frank and others said, we're going to get those rich people and we're going to take the money from them. Fine, if that's what they want to do. And I can hardly, it's incredible to think of Speaker Pelosi, Harry Reid, and Barack Obama with the tax and spend policies that they did in the past and that they espouse now and might happen in the future. It invigorates me to keep my campaign going and going hard. I don't want that to happen to America.
Social Security, it's a potential problem out there for our children and grandchildren. Sure. And you've said nothing is off the table as far as coming up with some solutions, long-term solutions to social security. You know that funny? That's the way you negotiate, and that's the way you negotiate and get solutions. Right now there's a cap at $102,000 for Social Security payroll withholding tax. Are you open, as part of an effort to save Social Security, to letting that cap go up?
I'm obviously against it, and I want to tell you again. The way you succeed in negotiations, and I've done it many times across the aisle, whether it be Ted Kennedy or Russ Feingold or Joe Lieberman or anybody else, is you sit down and you negotiate. You go in with your negotiating positions. I'll go in with my negotiating positions. My position is that I won't raise taxes on anybody.
What about increasing the retirement age from 65?
I will have things on the table. We will negotiate. Ronald Reagan, Tip O'Neill, 1983. Went in, negotiated, and came out and saved Social Security. Guess what? That's what the American people want from us. That's what I've done all the time I've been in the Congress of the United States. And so for me to say anything, but I'm going to do what I saw two great leaders, Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan, do. It's just foolishness.
So raising the retirement age?
The Democrats insist. The reason why we couldn't get an agreement in 2005 is because the Democrats insisted as a precondition that we raise taxes. So guess what? We never sat down at the table together. The Americans want us to sit down together, Wolf. And so all I can tell you is I'll sit down with them. I've worked with them before. I'll sit across the table from them. I'm against tax increases. I'm against a lot of the bad things that a lot of the people support, but I'll get a result, and we'll save Social Security.
And how do you feel about raising the retirement age?
I feel very strongly that I'll sit down with the Democrats and we'll negotiate out as something that will save Social Security, because that's our obligation to future generations of Americans. And you can ask me, you know, for the next half hour if you'd like. I mean, it'd be kind of fun. And my answer is going to be the same. I will sit down and negotiate the way I have done in the past, which Senator Obama has never done, whether it be in judicial nominations or whether it be in immigration reform or ethics or lobbying reform. He always went home to the Democrat leadership.
Let's talk a little bit about your support, and correct me if I'm wrong, you did support President Bush's plan to overhaul Social Security and allow Social Security recipients to use about 10% of their Social Security savings in the stock market. That collapsed, obviously, didn't go forward. Knowing what we know now about the volatility of the stock market, is that still a good idea?
The reason why the talks collapsed is because the Democrats insisted on agreeing to tax increases before we sat down. So let's understand history. Okay, that's what they wanted to do. And all this other stuff was worth negotiating. And I will protect, as President of the United States, the Social Security benefits of retirees and future retirees. I will protect those benefits, and I'll do whatever's necessary to